Hello and welcome back to Future Forward by CallMiner, the series where we dig into enterprise conversation intelligence, CX automation, and AI-powered customer engagement with people who are actually doing this day in and day out. If you're in CX or contact centers, or you're just interested in how automation and analytics are reshaping industries like financial services, healthcare, retail, telecoms, and tech, then you are in exactly the right place. So today I am joined by Jon Lamont, who's been helping organizations bridge that gap between customer conversations and real operational automation. Jon, it's great to have you here.
Great to be here.
So Jon, I want to hit this head on. Most organizations are sitting on a huge amount of customer conversation data, but they're not exactly automating with it.
Yeah, I think about a customer support call like one of those airport moving walkways, right? When it works, you barely notice it. You're gliding forward and you're just noticing how fast you're moving and how efficient you're going. But when it stops, like suddenly everyone's now confused, annoyed, carrying way too many bags. And that's what a broken customer journey feels like. You know, the customer's trying to move forward, but every system or transfer or repeat question that they've got to answer again, you know, just becomes another suitcase that they're lugging behind them, right? And I think every company's kind of lived this scene where a customer calls in on Friday at 4:58 p.m. They're frustrated, they're tired. They're one transfer away from like just saying, I've had enough, I'm leaving the organization. The conversation gets recorded, the sentiment gets scored, the dashboard turns red. Everybody agrees that it matters, but then Monday comes and that same customer journey is still broken, right? No action has really been taken on behalf of that customer. And sometimes those things do get handled in a manual way, but a lot of times they're kind of lost in the weeds, right? Because other things happen. And that's the real gap that I think AI solves in today's age. Insights is only as valuable as the changes that it can make, right? What happens next? And otherwise, it's just a very expensive rearview mirror, right? So AI is really that thing that can take not only what's happening now, but what's happening previously and help those customers to get to what they want to happen next, which is get their issue resolved.
Yes, it's a bit like collecting dashboards, but not actually ever doing anything differently.
100%. You know, a dashboard should not be your finish line. It should really be the starting line, right? The shift is, I think, quite simple. Stop asking what did customers say and start asking what should have happened before they said it and what should happen next after they said what they said. And how can we create a repeatable process that really surprises, delights any customer across any industry and follows up on the fact that we heard you, we know what you wanted, and we're just checking in to make sure that you got exactly what you wanted.
And that's a big shift, right? It's not just about faster reporting. This is automation actually happening inside the customer journey.
Yeah, I mean, and this is where it gets exciting, right? AI is moving from the observation deck to the cockpit. You know, in real time, right now, we can tell the agent, hey, the customer's confused about a bill, they've called twice, and this is the moment that you can build trust or burn it, right? And after the interaction, sure, AI can summarize the call, update the CRM. It's going to send the right documentation to the right places, maybe even start a ticket or a workflow. But nobody has to spend the afternoon, the architecting and the work across 5 systems. So that's the big idea. Conversation becomes the instruction manual of what happened, digging into the knowledge base on what do we need to do to get them to the next step. And the customer is going to tell you what matters. And the operation finally has a way to act on it without just pouring more human resources into it.
Yeah, I really like that. It's basically AI translating what it hears into action without always needing a human right in the middle of it.
That's exactly it. You know, I think in my mind, the best automation doesn't feel like technology at all. It feels like someone finally remembered who you are, why you called, how long you've been a customer, and can accurately tell you what needs to happen next, right? Customers don't wake up excited to contact any call center support center, right? Nobody rolls out of bed and says, you know, today would make a great day if I just had to explain this problem I'm having to 3 different people. And hopefully they're going to follow up on it. So when AI removes that repetition, anticipates that customer's needs based on their previous journey, and gives the human agents better context, the experience really becomes less robotic and more human, right? The machine's going to handle the memory and the context, and the person's going to handle the moment. And that's the partnership. That's the relationship with your customers. And those are the things that, in my opinion, you don't want to automate. So handing off to that human at the right time, in the right cadence, that is a feature that every organization should have. We shouldn't treat that like a failure of automation.
No, and I guess also automation is really only as good as the data behind it, right?
Yeah. I mean, bad data in, bad actions out, right? So AI is not going to magically fix bad data sets, bad hierarchy, bad processes. It's just going to expose those things faster with much better lighting on it, right? The companies that are really winning are not learning from like a tiny 2% QA sample. They're learning from all the conversations. They're not watching a movie clip, they're watching the entire movie. And that matters right now because the market's moving from reactive service to predictive service. So recent 2026 CX coverage points to agentic AI say real-time personalization, intelligent handoffs, and trust are the new battleground. If you can't play in those fields about knowing and having that conversational intelligence behind that customer's journey, understand where they're at right now in that, and then predict what are the next things or steps or actions you should take to increase that customer satisfaction, their net promoter score, then you're not going to win in today's environment. So in my mind, the simple rule is this. If you want smarter automation, start with better listening, start with better data sets, and really get in and start to analyze your older, more tenured processes to see if they could be updated in a way that, once again, removes that friction from both the customer and the agent that might be handling that down the line.
And so if organizations do get this right, what is the payoff?
Well, I mean, the obvious payoff is speed to customer resolution, right? So faster answers, you've got less after call work, fewer manual steps, fewer customers that feel trapped or unheard, right? So you should see your CX go up. You should see your employee satisfaction go up because they're handling less of the repetitive tasks that really aren't engaging their thought processes. Today, too many experiences depend on luck, like which agent you get, which call center it's going to, which system they open first, whether the last person notated the account from yesterday when they called in, did the policy change? So AI kind of takes away all or most of that ambiguity and gives the frontline representatives a way to scale the best version of the branded operation, not an average version, right? So it's taking the best practices and making those the playbook versus a randomized control of, what my top quartile versus my bottom quartile is doing. And that continuous learning loop is really what is allowing organizations to learn a lot faster. And I would say fail faster, but it's really succeeding faster in a lot of ways, right? Because you're able to quickly identify where there's a process or friction point. And then just as easy as a prompt or an update to a process or a knowledge base, that's fixed. And it's not just fixed with that conversation, it's fixed across 100% of the conversations that are like that to come, right? So you can iterate really, really fast.
Love that. So, all right, a quick takeaway. If someone's watching this and they're thinking, I want my AI to do more than just show me charts, where should they start?
Well, I'd say, start small, but don't start random. I see a lot of folks will take, especially a few years ago, they would throw teams of people, try to understand every process and every document and map every potential journey and try to solve for everything. The great thing about the technology today is you can pick one moment, one use case, one interaction type, and start there, right? Start testing that, start A/B testing that against a specific queue, a specific process, a specific set of agents who are doing kind of focused work, and really measure whether it got better and what's improving. Is your after call going down? Are the billing confusion calls coming in at a lower rate? Is my churn language rising or lowering? Did I miss follow-ups, or am I creating more opportunities to follow up with customers in a hyper-personalized way? The best use case is the one that your agents and customers are already complaining about, right? Like, I had to wait 5 minutes in the queue to have someone reset my password, right? Let's automate those things, right? There's no sense in not doing that. And so that's how you move from, the AI theater or presentation demo to real AI impact. You take that one painful moment, that one painful experience, you measure the results, you get to baseline, and then you just make that process better and you continue to improve that and iterate it until you've got it exactly where you and your customer base say, hey, this is the right way to do it.
Yeah, that's a great place to land. So insight is valuable, but action is where the real impact happens. So, Jon, thank you so much for sharing that. And for everyone watching, if you could automate one CX task tomorrow, what would that be? Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Perfect. Thanks, Alex. Bye, everybody.